first topic of conversation here. And Bryce Young is going to be special, okay? Bryce Young is going to be good, okay? But I was on Twitter this entire week and over the weekend, and there were 3 sets of tweets that I saw from Crimson Tide fans debating, arguing, that type of thing. And the tweet started off with one guy saying, if Bryce Young is not QB1, if Bryce Young is not the starter, if Bryce Young is not the man for 2020, then Bama's doomed. Alabama's not going to win a national championship. It's not going to win a conference title. It's not going to make the college football playoff. Nick Saban can just tuck his head between his legs and kiss the world goodbye. There is no hope for Alabama if Bryce Young is not QB1. And I'm going, that is the most over-exaggeration, asinine statement I've heard in my entire life. Bryce Young is going to be good. Bryce Young's going to be okay. He's going to be special. But I feel like we as people, we take the word elite and we use this word way too loosely. Just because you may have elite traits, elite qualities, elite characteristics at the quarterback position, does that necessarily mean you are an elite quarterback? Absolutely not. Case in point, look at one Trevor Lawrence, for example. Look at Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence at one point in time at Clemson was thought to be the second coming of Jesus in terms of quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence was thought to be the best thing since the Easy Bake Oven. Now, yes, Trevor Lawrence has some great qualities. Yes, he has some great tendencies, but is he elite? No, because he still has some growing to go. Just go back and watch the national championship game against LSU. That was the worst I have ever seen Trevor Lawrence. Look bad. Look awful, looked uncomfortable, looked terrible. I counted 18 overthrows, and that was because the LSU defense put that heat on him, which means it is more than just the quarterback, ladies and gentlemen. You got to have a combination of things. You got to have a defense, and Trevor Lawrence was not prepared for that LSU defense in the national championship game. Now, people will say he was prepared for the Alabama defense. I wouldn't really say he was prepared. Alabama just could not get a pass rush to Trevor Lawrence to save its life. As opposed to LSU, it got the pass rush, and you saw when there's pressure put to a quarterback and he's not ready for it, that quarterback crumbles in the big moment. That's what happened to one Trevor Lawrence. There were all 4 quarterbacks that were in the college football playoff this past season. They all had elite traits. They all had elite qualities, elite characteristics, even down to one Jalen Hurts. I know that's contrary to popular belief, but even Jalen Hurts had some elite characteristics. But people look at me and go, well, Steven, look at how special Joe Burrow was last year. Look at what he did and the year he had and the greatness he was able to pursue. Joe Burrow did not do anything special, people. He did exactly what the coaching staff required of him to do. He made the right throw, made the right call, made the right check, made the right play at the right time, helping his team win. He didn't overexert himself. He didn't do too much. He did exactly what Joe Brady told him to do. And he had the benefit of having a Joe Moore award-winning offensive line, spectacular receivers, a underrated strong running back, and a solid defense to boot when it was healthy. Joe Burrow was not even really uberly athletic. He just pulled the ball down, lowered his shoulders, picked up some yards when he could. He did what he was supposed to do. And when you look at Mac Jones, thoroughly capable of making the right call at the offensive line, making the right checks, putting the ball into the hands of the playmakers, playing within the system, because he's going to have a solid offensive line, 7 different running backs to work with, a strong wide receiver core, and a defense that will be very much so improved. And I'm going to bring this to your attention here. The 5 national championships that Alabama has won under Nick Saban. These quarterbacks that played at Alabama went up against the quote-unquote elite names in their time, and they were still able to bring home a national championship. So check out the slide here as it's being shown on screen here. 2009, 2009. The elite quarterbacks, the people that national media at that time referred to as these are elite. These are the creme de la creme. These are ahead of the game. These are the upper echelon. Either you have these guys or you have nothing. Either you have these guys or you don't have a thing. Either you have these guys or you're not going to win whatsoever. You're dirt, trash, filth, nothing unless you have these guys. Those guys were none other than Tim Tebow, Colt McCoy, Robert Griffin III, and Kellen Moore, among others. These were the elite. Sam Bradford also. These were the creme de la creme. These were the guys. Greg McElroy was mentioned nowhere in that statement. Greg McElroy was mentioned nowhere among these quarterbacks. Greg McElroy was never even thought of to be elite, but it was Greg McElroy doing a little Baryshnikov ballet step down the sideline in the SEC championship game against Florida, and Greg McElroy wins the national championship. Then we go down to 2011. 2011 and 2012, what did the national talking heads say? Oh, just if you don't have Andrew Luck or Terrell Pryor or Johnny Manziel or Marcus Mariota or Teddy Bridgewater or Taj Boyd or Braxton Miller or any of these elite names, any of these big-time quarterbacks, any of these that can do the above and beyond and just a special, you got nothing. A.J. McCarron becomes the two-time national championship quarterback, people, 2011 and 2012. And even when you look at 2015, where you had Deshaun Watson, where you had Jared Goff, where you had Baker Mayfield, where you had Josh Rosen, where you had J.T. Barrett, and you had all these names, right, that people looked at as can't miss. You got to have these guys. These guys are next level. Jacob Coker, who was way down the matriculation of the list, wins the national championship. Where am I getting at? I'm getting at this right here. Just because people put you on the pedestal as an elite prospect does not necessarily guarantee you automatically seal you in as the national champion. Just saying. Mac Jones, just saying. Bryce Young, as good as he can be, he needed the spring, y'all. Bryce Young needed the spring. He needed the spring to show the hype. He needed the spring to get this connection with the players, the playbook, the coaching staff, the fans. Bryce Young needed these 15 spring practices along with the A-Day game. Mac Jones didn't really need the spring. Mac Jones has played in 3 different spring games, 3 different spring practices. I think people forget at times, this is the same Mac Jones that outplayed Jalen Hurts and outplayed Tua Tagovailoa in different A-Day games. This is the same Mac Jones that of the 3 A-Day games, one of them he was the MVP. I feel like people forget, just like Bryce Young was at the Elite 11, just like Tua Tagovailoa was at the Elite 11, Mac Jones was there too. People forget, just like Bryce Young has won national championships, state championships in high school and set records, Mac Jones did the exact same thing. And it's cute to see Bryce Young over there in California throwing the ball to NFL talents like Juju Smith-Schuster, but you're not going to be throwing the Juju on Saturdays in the fall, son. You ain't going to be throwing the Juju. You're going to be throwing to Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Tyrell Shavers, John Mechie, Slade Bolton, Xavier Williams, Thayil Jones-Bell, Trayshawn Holder, and Javon Baker. And of the names I have just rattled off of the veterans in this group, they have the connection to who? Mac Jones. They got the connection with Mac Jones. Offensive line connected to Mac Jones. Running backs connected with Mac Jones. Wide receivers connected with one Mac Jones. And the crazy thing here is, people forget also at times, Jerry Jeudy was in a slump in 5 games last year. He had a stretch of 5 games last year between September and October where he was in a slump. And this was with Tua at quarterback, where Jeudy didn't even bring in 100 yards receiving during that 5-game period. It was in a bad slump. And he's considered the best, the number 1 receiver in this draft class. Guess who picked up Jeudy out the slump? It was Mac Jones against Arkansas. 7 catches for $103 and 2 touchdowns. And then, in Judy's entire collegiate career, he only had one 200-yard receiving performance. That came with Mac Jones against Michigan in the Citrus Bowl. 6 catches for 204 yards and 1 touchdown. And people say, well, Mac Jones can't handle the Georgia defense. Mac Jones can't handle SEC defenses. Mac Jones can't break down national defenses. I don't know about Mac Jones. I'm not sure about Mac Jones. I don't trust him. He represents Alabama. We got to be fly and sexy and cool and on the up and on fleek. We got to have that quarterback that can do everything, because if we don't, we are doomed. John Parker Wilson handled that Georgia defense in 2008. A.J. McCarron handled that Georgia defense in 2012. Jacob Coker handled that Georgia defense in 2015. Tua Tagovailoa came off the bench in the 2018 national title game off that 2017 season and handled that Georgia defense. Jalen Hurts came off the bench in the 2018 SEC championship game and lit that Georgia defense up. I'm just saying that Georgia defense is not insurmountable. I'm just saying. And Mac Jones took on the best, or one of the best, defensive fronts in all of college football last year in the Auburn Tigers and gave the nasty right back to Auburn every single freaking time. I'm talking 335 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. Everybody wants to holler at the 2 pick sixes, but let me spit it to you like this off the dome. 1 pick 6 was a fluke. That rarely ever happens. The other pick 6 was a bad ball. Everybody in life has a bad ball. It's part of life. Every Alabama quarterback has thrown a bad ball. Bryce Young is going to have a couple of bad balls in his career once he gets here. But the big thing is, how do you respond from the bad balls? And Mac Jones picked himself up every single time and was slinging the rock like the trap house was jumping outside. I mean, Mac Jones had 4 touchdown passes getting the thing done. And then he goes out there against Michigan, and for all of y'all that think that Michigan didn't have a great defense, tell that to Josh Uche, tell that to Kwity Paye, tell that to Aiden Hutchinson, tell that to Cameron McGrone, tell that to Jordan Glasgow, all of those individuals on that Michigan defensive front that had at least 7 tackles for a loss, if not more, last season. And all that Mac Jones did was throw for 327 passing yards with a couple of touchdown passes. I'm going to say this right now. Mac Jones will win the national championship for the Crimson Tide. He'll win the national championship, and he will go get drafted to the NFL because he's that good, he's that talented, he's that special, he's tired of being disrespected, and this is somebody that Nick Saban ain't worried about it. The players aren't worried about it. The administration staff ain't worried about it. I'm darn sure not worried about it. Mac Jones will win the national championship. And that's just how I'm going to leave it right there. We're going to go to our first break here on In My Own Words, the podcast. Don't touch that dial. Just getting started. Upon our return, we dive into your phone calls, tweets, text messages, thoughts, questions, and concerns after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care. In support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month, or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Make sure to subscribe before it's too late and get our new freshly printed end of the year magazine issue. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
Thank you for watching Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel. To continue to get the best of the Alabama football content, subscribe here and turn on your notifications to stay connected with the hottest shows covering your Crimson Tide.